In other world news, protests against Alexander Lukashenko's re-election in Belarus have rolled on for a 10th straight day. Large crowds of demonstrators have gathered outside a prison in the capital Minsk, where the husband of the main opposition candidate is still being detained. And in a separate development, the Russian president has spoken with the EU Council president and his French and German counterparts, and he's warned Emmanuel Macron and Angela Merkel against foreign interference in Belarus's affairs. Our regional correspondent Gulliver Cragg has sent this update about the latest protests.
Across Belarus on Tuesday, there were two rallies in support of President Alexander Lukashenko in the provincial cities of Gomel and Mogilev. There were several thousand people at each of them, but as protests and strike action against his rule continued across Belarus on Tuesday, there were two rallies in support of President Alexander Lukashenko in the provincial cities of Gomel and Mogilev. There were several thousand people at each of them, but workers apparently told independent Belarusian journalists that they had been threatened with being fired if they refused to attend, and also large numbers of buses seen parked in the vicinity suggested that people had been bussed in especially. These kinds of organised, semi-compulsory political meetings are very common in the countries of the former Soviet Union. Meanwhile, Alexander Lukashenko himself maintained his defiant tone on Tuesday. He reacted to Svetlana Tikhanovskaya's announcement of the formation of a consultative council for the transition of power as an attempt to usurp power, backed by the West. He keeps bringing up this idea that there's some kind of Western plot against Belarus, Alexander Lukashenko does, but he said that the country would take legal action against the members of that council, who are various prominent Belarusians. One of them, Maria Kolesnikova, who's one of the three women who formed the trio running for presidency, as it were, alongside Svetlana Tikhanovskaya, and the only one who's still in Belarus. She reacted to Lukashenko's statements by very strongly stressing the fact that their movement is absolutely not geopolitical in nature, and they have no intention of breaking the country's alliances with Russia. Russia, meanwhile, seems to be leaning towards supporting Alexander Lukashenko, at least for now. Vladimir Putin held phone conversations with Angela Merkel and Emmanuel Macron, and after both of them, the Kremlin readout said that Vladimir Putin stressed that external intervention in Belarus would be absolutely unacceptable, hinting at, of course, some kind of Western external intervention, which is not really on the agenda, but which suggests that the Kremlin, for now, is willing to toe the line that Alexander Lukashenko is pushing in his communication strategy.
That was Gulliver Cragg reporting from Kiev. Now, from September